hold music. You want to avoid it, and so do your customers. So say goodbye to hold music and hello to faster, smarter support with Salesforce. Make service more personal and agents more productive using built-in trusted AI. Then watch costs and wait times drop and satisfaction soar. Support customers in a whole new way with Service GPT. Learn how at salesforce.com/servicegpt.
Welcome to nature-backed podcast of Single Earth. In this podcast, we are talking with investors about their vision of the new green world. My name is Tarmo Virki, and in this episode, I'm talking with Tuomas Kosonen from Inventure. Enjoy the show. Hello, Tuomas. Thanks for joining us here at the nature-backed podcast. Today, we are at TechChill in Riga and talking about Inventure. Tell us a few words about how do you pitch Inventure? What Inventure does?
Thanks. Great to be here talking an important topic overall. But first, the Inventure, what we are all about. Mm-hmm. So Inventure is a seed stage investor based in Helsinki and Stockholm, investing actively around Nordics and Baltics. So geographical reach, more like a quite diverse portfolio and more generalist. We are investing from our fourth fund, which is a 150 million euro fund, and launched at the beginning of this year, 2022, and already done a few investments this year. So market is very vibrant, and we are one of the most active and leading investors in this region.
Mm. How important are all the kind of climate or environment related topics in your portfolio or that?
Yeah, that's of course one topic which is driving our thesis as well. So we are not impact investor, we are pure financial investor, but in the past years, all ESG related topics have raised their meaning, coming from also from the portfolio, but also from LPs, and that's something that we see in that how to compete in the market. So we have to be very aware on all these topics and how they actually which kind of impact companies can do to society overall, not just monetary, but also other important KPIs if those could be measured. So we are following them now more and more actively.
Impact investing on its own is rather interesting term, but do you think that impact investing and real investing are becoming closer and closer?
Yeah, they are getting closer. Of course, if you think the old school impact investment, so you didn't have let's say the monetary goals as heavily driving the evolution and the traction and the execution. So of course that's quite old fashioned in that sense. So I think now it's getting more and more. So you can actually having both of them involved and having those as your metrics and KPIs, and it's not they are not overruling or closing each other away, but rather having both. So the most successful companies normally tend to have all the topics somehow covered.
Exactly. There are not too many successful startups which sell guns or destroy the nature, right? It's not part of the DNA.
Yeah, and that's coming very strongly for. We have institutional LPs of mainly where our money comes from, and that's something which is super important in the pension funds, insurance companies, public money on their agenda. And of course that is super nice to see actually what kind of impact money can make. So if the big money institutional investors would not care it, so most of the investors at least wouldn't put that much effort on that one, but actually you might actually not even qualify for the money, the LP commitments, if you are not part of that bracket what they put you in.
One of the lines I'm hearing quite often that the climate tech sector is horribly hot. Some people even say that there is more money in that sector than attractive startups.
Yeah, that is. Of course, you can think what is climate tech overall. It's so broad.
It is broad.
It's broad, and if it's the first generation, what it used to be. So electric fast cars and windmills and solar panels. So I think that's easy to see what is climate tech in that sense. But now I think most of the companies have to climate or environmental issues somehow part of their like strategy. So if it's not like that they make an impact on that side, at least they are following up of their footprint in the market.
I mean, you say that you guys are generalists, but could you maybe throw some examples on the kind of environmental related investments Inventure has done lately or over the years?
Yes, maybe like the best example would be a company called Swappie, which is selling refurbished phones, electronics, and that's easy to understand. It's like fully company's doing well. It has like grown like 2-3 times year by year. So and monetary wise they're doing well and raise a lot of money, and that's easy to see actually what kind of impact they do. So like prolonging the life cycles, and people are actually making proud of themselves when they are buying something from Swappie rather than having the Apple like package. They might have the similar phone inside, which is the Swappie package.
You see the as a classical iPhone owner, I have 2 of them on the table.
Yeah.
There is this joke of I think at the time when Nokia must have been launching the navigation devices, and there was a lot of laugh that with the iPhone you can only use navigation at the as a function. At the same time, you can't do anything else with the early iPhones. The joke was that how do the iPhone users actually? What's the solution for iPhone users? They go and buy another one.
No. Yeah, but of course now you can do do that one as well when you have like a option to buy different like life cycle of the iPhones and different price levels, and it's possible. Yeah,
Exactly.
I still manage with one.
Yeah, I mean one for recording and so on.
Yeah.
But
and then like for some other examples, so like there are of course some like new technologies on the material side. What we have been doing now, the iPhone is ringing.
yes.
And but another good example is a company called Material Exchange. They are building a marketplace for fashion where they can like buy the raw materials what they need. Started from leather for shoes mainly, and now like expanding that as like huge variety of different materials coming from that one. And then of course the sustainability, environmental issues are super important for the consumers, for the manufacturers and raw material producers by that one as well. So like they are solving part of that issue, having the access and the knowledge for the purchasers, the sourcing, what kind of materials they should buy, and like having the whole let's say tracked where actually materials are coming from. So that's another one.
To me, with the Swappie, the challenge has always been understanding where's the startup in Swappie. Why do you define it as a startup, or do you actually?
Yeah, of course, it started. Every company is a startup at some stage.
I mean, it has. To me, it has to have the kind of technology or scalability part of it to be a startup.
Yes, of course. So like what they do differently compared to all the others, like they have their own process. So how they actually, when they source the phones, so they have a 6-minute process which is unique, developed by them. They have their own softwares or own tools, and then if the phone qualifies throughout their process in that 6 minutes, they can give the warranty and like take the responsibility actually on. And that's something most of the competitors don't have in-house. They have outsourced that to third parties, and it's quite hard actually to take like that kind of visibility and responsibility and transparency over all the process if you don't own that yourself. That's the startup
aspect of
and it's actually quite complicated actually what they do, and they have been put a lot of effort on that side.
We were talking earlier a little bit how impact investing has been become part of every kind of investing. How do you see this trend continuing further? I mean, will we drop the return on investment in financial terms first from the fund's futures, or?
I think like there will be like different metrics that the funds will be actually selling to LPs, and like the pure impact funds. So like they might not like have that strong monetary but like goals, but still when you think about like from an investor LP perspective, so they have to get the money back with some returns. So that's the only thing which is driving the market. If you want to do pure impact, then it's more like closer to charity than investing.
Exactly.
And like then when there are different like means what you do, like tokenizing part of the nature, or like having like the carbon emissions which now have value. Actually, you can show other means, not just like everyday traction how you make money. It's long-term commitment actually, and the more like the results might take a bit longer to achieve, but they will be there in the end if you can somehow like see where the world is going and like what is like the people will put most value in the future. That will be driving the market, but definitely when you think about the investments overall, it's always like getting some returns.
Exactly. The interesting point you mentioned about the kind of potential length of the process. Some of our recent visitors have been telling to me that the challenge is for the kind of old VC funds with their 10-year investment cycle or the 10-year life cycle, that if you go to climate tech in the year or climate-related technology startup in the year 4 of your fund, you're basically already too late.
Yeah, quite often. That's true. Exactly. That's a challenge. So, like, but it's not just like environmental or like impact-driven investments. It's challenge with all the investments. It's almost like we are like forced to execute fast and get the results pretty fast. I understand your question there. So, like, if the results cannot be seen within like less than 10 years, it's difficult to actually then show actually. But then we just have to find like the next home for that kind of companies who actually are valuing and looking for that one as well. So like it's not like that we have to execute and get all the value out of that investment. But it's more like that they're finding the part of the ecosystem which values that and is looking for that kind of like results as well.
If you look into the 2022. I mean, you said that you just raised a big fund and done the first few investments. I would guess that, looking into the year ahead, your main focus will be on working on the new investments from that fund, or am I right or am I right? Of
course, we have a large portfolio from the previous fund, so that will take, of course, some of everybody's time to like get outcome of those ones what was expected. But definitely that's like now for the next few years, our focus will be building the next portfolio. And so we are a seed stage investor, so like doing tickets between 300,000 to 3 million install tickets, and like that tells a little bit what type of companies we are looking for, quite early stage. And of course we're having this life cycle mentality overall, like it has an impact on what we can do and will do, but within the first 18 months, 24 months of the life cycle of the fund. So definitely we're going to be doing more binary investments, and like especially like what we have done in the past is new materials. So like plastic replacement or like carbon nanotubes or like a bit different approaches. So that's something that which has a huge environmental impact. So that's something we are now looking for in the coming 2 years. Where to find them, and like now would be the time to invest there.
Even in Finland, I'm seeing some really interesting material projects, right? Your home base.
Yeah, they are. So and the company called Swappie, for example, which is doing like the plastic replacement, mainly from wood, and like the look and feel is exactly the same. That's good. A good example of that one. There's lots of food-related companies. We have invested company called Stockholm Dreamery, a Swedish company which is like doing plant-based cheese. So nothing coming from animal is used for that one. So like and I think like the food-related companies will have a direct impact and quite fast, much faster than some material technologies. And I think the food tech is like super heated as well, part of the environmental investment.
Yes. The plant-based food, I have to tell the story. I live in a small village on the island of Saaremaa.
Okay.
And the closest grocery store, I noticed last week, they now have the plant-based cheese in their offering.
Good.
And it's a really tiny shop, and really for the countryside people. So I was quite amazed how it kind of gets distributed these days.
Yeah, and we have looked at this meat replacement company. We have not unfortunately invested single one of them yet, but there's been some quite interesting and going like the stem cells even. So actually you have the part of the animal still used, but you do it in like a lab. So like I know there are plenty of companies doing that kind of stuff, but I think there will be interesting opportunities.
Absolutely. Looking forward to the 2022.
Yeah.
Thanks, Tuomas.
Thank you.
Join us again for the next episode. Thank you for listening. If you like the show, please give us a good rating and leave the feedback in your podcast player so others will find it too. We will be back next week. Turn on to Nature-backed podcast.
Welcome to Ringside with Ray and Prince. My name is Ray Leonard Jr.
Oh, is that the set? No, that's just my dad.
My name is Prince Daniels Jr.
Daniels again with a big home touchdown.
On this show, we come to humanize
Athletes, entertainers, business executives. We're going to see what makes them tick.
Tuesdays, 10 a.m. Pacific time on Spotify, Apple, Amazon, and wherever you get your podcasts.
We'll see you there. Peace and power.
Electricast.
Wild 95 is the country station on Audilis, bringing you the hits from today's chart toppers, some new up-and-coming hits, and a handful of those country hits from the past. We bring you great on-air personalities on top of all of that great music. Download the Audilis app for the best of today's country music all day and all night. Come on over to audilis.com/wild95.
Electricast.